hilarious. The more things change, the more they stay the same. All right. Ready?
Herndon Town Council public hearing, February 13th, 2018.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome. I'll call the meeting to order and and invite you to join us for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Councilmember McKenna is out of town this evening and will not be here. Next on our agenda is approval of the minutes. I'll ask for separate motions on several of these minutes. Is there a motion to approve the January 23rd public hearing minutes?
So moved. Second.
Discussion on the motion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed?
I'm going to abstain.
Oh, so 5-0 and 1. Baker. Okay, thank you. Is there a motion to approve the February 6th work session minutes?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion on the motion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That motion carries. Let's see, do we have one more set? No. We have no presentations this evening, so that brings us right to the comments portion. Mr. Town Manager, do you have any comments for us?
Nothing this evening, Madam Mayor.
Okay, thank you, sir. Ms. Friedrichs.
I'm delighted to announce that the National Endowment for the Humanities has given the Arts Herndon and Arts Council a $15,000 grant this year, probably their final year, for what's going to be called the Capital Kids Book Fest. And that was proposed by the mayor and Kwame Alexander, who's a Newbery Award-winning children's writer, and I wrote the grant for it. This is the last thing I ever did for Arts Herndon, so I'm very excited that an NEA grant was given to our town to support our children and to support the arts.
That's exciting. Can't wait to hear
is.
more about it. Congratulations, Arts Herndon. Miss Olam.
Yes, congratulations, Art Herndon, from me as well. I attended an event at the Art Space on Sunday for our Herndon Village Network, and it was really nice. I had seen this place that sold chocolate that is kind of a home-based business, so I was delighted that they were there, and I now have tasted the chocolate, so I can start sending that to my friends when they have everything and I can't buy anything but good chocolate. And tomorrow, happy Valentine's Day.
Thank you. Mr. Davidson.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. On the consent agenda this evening, we have a modification to our ordinance for the residential parking area. I'm proud to say this is going to allow the town manager to expand a parking area once it's established by the council in a much more responsive fashion to the citizens' needs. And this was something that came out of the old Drainesville Hunt Club neighborhood, and we expect that it might actually help us in some other areas too. So I wanted to point that out. And happy Valentine's Day.
Thank you. Ms. Cunningham.
Thank you. I also want to echo Councilmember Olin's remarks. Herndon Village Network had a very successful fundraiser this last Sunday at Art Space. And if you're not familiar with them, they are a nonprofit group that's dedicated to giving free rides to seniors in our community. So if you are a person who's got a car and a good driving record and you've got some time in your hands, you'd like to help out some of our folks who are a little more housebound, please check out Herndon Village Network. I know Councilmember McKenna is on the board of directors and he would be delighted to see more participation. On another note, I want to invite the public to join our Finest, the Herndon Police Department, on Friday, February 23rd for Coffee with a Cop. It's from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. at Weird Brothers down at the Sunset Business Park. It's a great time to meet your officers and engage, find out what's going on in the community, share any concerns or comments with them, and most importantly, get a great cup of coffee.
Thank you. Vice Mayor.
Sure. Just two quick announcements. One, Friday, I was going to start the Friday Night Live countdown because it's 11 weeks from Friday. It's going to be warm and beautiful on our first Friday Night Live, I'm positive. The second thing, I want to acknowledge Next Stop Theater. Several of us on council ended up going to the last production they just had, 45 plays of 45 presidents. It was an amazing production. I've certainly been to Next Stop Theater several times,
and they continue to really just wow and impress us with the level of production that we have in Herndon. And we can't stop talking about it and getting more folks to just participate in that. I mean, I'm going to New York City. I'm going to go to Broadway soon, but I'm telling you, I'm positive this show is going to be better than the $100+ you have to spend on a Broadway show. So please go to Next Stop. The next show they have is Godspell, which starts on March 1st. But a great job to that entire crew. And they had 5 women instead of what the play called for 3 men and two women. And they decided to cast the 5 women. And it was really just, again, an amazing production. Thanks.
Thank you. Yeah, it was pretty hilarious. I wasn't sure exactly what to expect, and it was really entertaining. I wanted to mention, several people mentioned the Herndon Village Network. I received a message today from Penny Halpern, who is the president of the board for Herndon Village Network, and she wanted me to mention that today, Tuesday, February 13th, has been designated by the Virginia General Assembly as Virginia Village Day. The village movement began with Beacon Hill Village in Boston, Massachusetts 16 years ago and is now a burgeoning worldwide movement that champions an alternative approach for adults as they grow older. Today, there are more than 200 open villages and more than 150 in development in 45 states and in the District of Columbia. 18 of those are in Virginia, and we are one of 3 villages in Fairfax County. And they're doing lots of great work, including making sure that there are rides for senior citizens to get to appointments and other things that they might not otherwise be able to get to. So I'm excited to be a part of that movement. And people keep saying Happy Valentine's Day. I just learned today that apparently February 13th is also Galentine's Day. Have you ever heard of this? Where, I know, that's what I said. Apparently, I think it came out of the Parks and Rec show on television, but it's women celebrating women. So happy Galentine's Day, girls. Anyway, also, I wanted to make sure that everyone knows that coming up, it's already President's Day weekend coming, Monday, February 19th. Town offices will be closed, and you can visit the town's website, herndon-va.gov, for information on refuse collection and the hours at the golf course and at the community center. Next up is comments from the audience. This is the portion of the agenda where anyone can come forward and speak on anything that's not a public hearing item. So if you are here to make comments on the budget, that'll be our first public hearing. But if you have anything else, including items on our consent agenda or general items that you'd like to come and speak to us about, you have up to 3 minutes. The green light will come on, and when you see the red light come on, you need to please wrap up and please state your name and address for the record. Is there anyone that would like to come forward and speak on any item that's not a public hearing? Okay. Well, thank you very much. We'll move right into our first public hearing, which is Resolution 18G04 to solicit public comment for consideration during the development of the town manager's proposed fiscal 2019 budget. We have already received a few comments, and they have been entered into the record. I'll open the public hearing and turn to the town manager, who I believe has some comments for us.
Yes, Madam Mayor. This is just the annual process by which we solicit comments from the public to inform our selection. As you know, budgets are about making choices, and making choices with taxpayer money. We'd like to hear from the taxpayers to hear what they're looking for. And so we offer this opportunity up to them to help, because right now is the time when the budget's starting to come into focus for us. And this is a wonderful exercise, and I encourage all to, if they can't make it tonight, to come out, send our emails in, call us, let us know what you'd like to see in the budget, so we can hopefully get it incorporated and get it in front of you later on this year. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Are there questions for the town manager on this process? Nope. I did want to make sure. I got a couple of emails today saying, I hope I'm not too late, but here's my comment. This is just our formal way of announcing publicly and through advertisements that we are formally starting the budget process. So there's plenty of time to get your comments in. This is not your only opportunity. So if there are no questions, I will call on comments from the audience. Same rules as before, up to 3 minutes. State your name and address for the record for comments on the budget. Is there anyone that would like to come forward? Yes, sir.
I've sent a few emails regarding the budget, CIP, and sustainability-related items. And I just wanted to take a minute to repackage them here tonight.
Excuse me. I don't know if the mic is on. Can you double check? I'm getting waves from HCTV.
Is that better? Hello?
Is that better? Yep, I'm getting thumbs up. Okay, sorry about that. Thank you. We want everybody watching on TV to hear you too.
Right. So there are 4 things in particular that I think could help the town build significant momentum towards its vision for sustainability. First, with the recent adoption of the Herndon Sustainability Plan, there's a lot of data collection and information gathering to be done. I think hiring a sustainability intern this summer would help add bandwidth to the town's sustainability efforts, and that would be good moving forward in future summers as well. The second thing, the Herndon Environmental Network has done a lot of work to make it possible to break ground on the community garden at Bruin Park potentially this year, so I would encourage the town council to help make that a reality. The third thing is with the growth of the electric vehicle market, I think it would be beneficial for the town to consider a pilot electric vehicle charging station at the Herndon Community Center. And the fourth thing is the second action item of the Herndon Sustainability Plan is a renewable energy study. So this would likely mean looking at all of the town-owned buildings and in particular the roofs on those buildings to determine if they could host a solar installation. So my ask to the town council is that the renewable energy study be supported in whatever way possible so the town council next year might be able to act on that information and put the town's first solar installation into the CIP. The 4 things I just mentioned shouldn't cost the town more than $15,000 this year, and these 4 things would build significant momentum towards the town's vision for sustainability. As always, I thank you for the opportunity to speak.
Thank you, sir. Is there anyone else who would like to come forward and speak on the budget this evening? No? Okay, well, thank you. I'll close the public hearing and move to council level for discussion and action. Anyone? Ms. Cunningham?
Madam Mayor, I'll move continuation of this public hearing until date certain.
Do we need to continue or do we?
Do we need to continue or can we just?
I think we can just pass it. Because we will continue to solicit
You do not need to.
Okay.
You may.
Okay, so it's up to you, Councilmember Cunningham.
I don't mind giving another public hearing for public comment, so I'll move continuation of Resolution 18G04 to solicit public comment for consideration of the town budget to date certain of February 27th.
Okay. Thank you for letting me clarify. So we have a motion to continue made by Councilmember Cunningham to a date certain of February 27th, seconded by Councilmember Olam. Discussion on the motion. Ms. Cunningham.
This motion is simply to allow the budget to remain one of the first general hearings on the agenda to keep it on top of everyone's awareness. We actually really do want to hear from you about how you want us to spend your money and the investments you want to make. So please do come and tell us. You don't have to, like the mayor said, you're welcome to email us, phone call, note under the door. When you see us walking around, let us know what you think our budget priorities should be for your taxpayer money. Thank you.
Ms. Olam.
Yeah, I concur. I think it's very important that we all speak up. I know over the years I've seen services almost get cut, and because the public came forward, we kept them in. One of my favorite things is the large trash pickup we have in the spring and in the fall. And I've got friends that moved out of town, and they said that was one of the reasons that they loved living in the town, and they've regretted moving because public works are really hard. Everybody loves having the police here when we need them, but we hope we don't. But we do deal with public works on a weekly basis, and they're awesome. And they got my leaves up late because they didn't fall this year until pretty late. So I ran out to give them a little bag of chips and a soda the other day because I know they work hard. Thanks a lot. But come forward and let us know what you want.
Thank you. Other comments from council? No. Mr. Davidson.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I normally make a practice of trying to add something that nobody has said to when I speak it from the dais, but this time I have to concur with my colleagues and please request that the residents of town Herndon let us know how you would like us to spend your money. Typically, we don't get a lot of comments, so you can almost be assured that if you do make a comment, it'll be heard and it'll be given proper attention. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
I'm sorry. I got so excited about Public Works. There's one other thing that they did that was in the budget and finally got put in. I noticed when I was at the corner by Jimmy's Old Town Tavern that a new audio light has gone in. So we did have a an individual on the PBAC committee that helped Public Works determine where the first ones went, and I was the first one went down by Virginia Kitchen to cross over to Safeway, so I was really happy to see that we've gotten another. They're pretty expensive, so we can't just put them in all at once. So that was a really good thing that's been in the works that just showed up in the last month or so.
Thank you. And I appreciate continuing this for another public hearing just to keep it top of mind. I think that's a great idea. So we'll see you here in 2 weeks to think about what you want us to spend your money on. So the motion on the floor is to continue the public hearing to a date certain of February 27th. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? And that motion carries. Our next public hearing is Ordinance 18004 to grant a First Amendment to Light Tower Fiber Networks, LLC, formerly known as Sedera Networks, to include a route extension and name change. I'll open the public hearing and call on Tammy Chastain from Public Works for the staff report. Good evening.
Good evening. So this is an ordinance, First Amendment, as you said, to the agreement. It's got two parts, which is to extend the route by 1,867 feet along Herndon Parkway from Sunset Business Park to 380 Herndon Parkway, which also results in an estimated additional per year revenue of $3,734. It also will accept their name change from Sedera Networks, doing business as Light Tower Fiber Networks, to simply Light Tower Fiber Networks 2. And the staff recommends approval of the ordinance.
Okay, are there questions for Ms. Chastain? Nope. That were you just moving?
I was just going to let the mayor know when we get to the proper point. I think we have some representatives here tonight who may want to speak. I don't know.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Okay, no questions? Whoa, you got off pretty easy. This is a public hearing, and I do believe we have the applicant or the applicant's agents here. Would any of you like to come forward and address the council? No? Okay. Then this is a public hearing. If there's anyone that would like to come forward and speak on this item, we would welcome you forward at this time. Okay, seeing none. I guess we don't need a rebuttal since we didn't have any comments. So I will close the public hearing, move to council
Also,
level.
Madam Mayor, I believe there is Ms. Chastain has a bid letter that she needs to present.
Oh, that's not in my notes. I apologize. So I guess I'm calling to see if there are any bids present.
Correct.
Are there any bids, Ms. Chastain?
Yes, we did receive one from Light Tower.
We did. Okay, we've received one bid that's being brought to the dais. Thank you, ma'am. We appreciate that. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. I appreciate that. That's why we have a parliamentarian, so that I don't forget anything important. Okay. Thank you. So then we will, if there are no questions or comments, I will close the public hearing and move to council level for discussion and action.
Madam Mayor,
Yes,
I
ma'am.
move approval of Ordinance 18-0-04.
Second.
Okay. We have a motion to approve made by Councilmember Olam, seconded by the Vice Mayor. Discussion on the motion.
We've had to do this several times when organizations change their names, so this is kind of one of those housekeeping things, and we're glad to see the applicants here.
Yes. Thank you for coming. Other comments? All right. Well, I'm glad that we realized we had a bid, and I would like to thank the delivery person of the bid who did a very fine job getting that up here to the town clerk. If there's no further discussion, I'll call the question on the motion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That motion carries. We do have one general item this evening, which is Resolution 18G05 to oppose 2018 General Assembly legislation proposed, which would eliminate most local control over the installation and operation of new wireless structures and the replacement of current technology on such structures. And I will call on Lisa Yates, our town attorney, to tell us more about that.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. The Virginia Municipal League has specifically requested that localities adopt resolutions opposing these two bills. These bills would eliminate, as you indicated, most local control over the placement, number, and height of co-located wireless facilities. In other words, our zoning laws would not be able to apply. We couldn't decide whether these would be allowed in certain areas and not allowed in other areas. And These bills address wireless service, not secure broadband that delivers access to internet in homes and schools. So this is wireless service, not what we think of as cable service. The legislation removes the ability of local officials like yourselves, residents, and businesses to have input into decisions that affect their character of their communities. Under these bills, for example, we could not require a special exception or a special use permit to co-locate a wireless facility in our historic downtown, on a structure, privately owned structure in the historic downtown, or any place else. In addition, localities would be required to provide guidance on incomplete applications. In other words, putting a lot of time into these sorts of matters that we're not currently required to do. And if the timetables for applications are not met, the project would be deemed approved, something that a locality does not want to happen. I do have a up-to-date report as of in the last 24 hours. There were 41 no votes on the House floor and came out of the Senate with only short one vote. So the Virginia Municipal League is still requesting opposition come from the localities, and they would very much appreciate, as would all of our fellow counties, the resolution that we're adopting tonight. Any questions?
Questions for the town attorney? Vice Mayor.
So that's great to hear, the most recent update. So does that mean it's off the table for this legislative session? I understand that we still want it, but it could still be back on the table.
It is still on the table, but very close. It is I believe in the House it's still in committee. No, I'm sorry, that's on the floor. In the Senate it's still in committee. And then, of course, we'll have crossover. And, of course, the governor always has a veto.
Got it. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Other questions for the town attorney? Okay. Thank you. Well, you can certainly see why we are opposed to something like this going through. So are there, I guess I already asked for questions. If there's no questions for the town attorney, I'll look for a motion. Ms. Cunningham.
Certainly, I'll move Resolution 18G05.
Second.
Okay, discussion on the motion. Anyone? I'm sorry. The motion maker or the seconder first? I apologize.
I think the town attorney said it all. It's one of those things where we'd like to retain that privilege to better serve our citizens.
Thank you.
Yes, as we work on the improvement of our downtown and the various structures we have downtown, the aesthetics are very important, and I think that we would like to maintain control of that as VML expresses. Thank you.
Absolutely. Ms. Friedrichs.
I concur with everything that the town attorney has said. It's I don't like giving up control over something. Obviously, I'm not an expert in wireless or anything like that, but this is something where the state is trying to reach into our town and take away something that we already do, and I don't see any reason for it. So,
thank you. Other comments? No, I concur with my colleagues. So with that, on that note, I will call the question on the motion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed. That motion carries, and that brings us to the consent agenda. Is there a motion to approve, which includes an award of contract to the customer service survey, to reconvene and appoint members to the town's investment and audit advisory committee, and an ordinance to amend motor vehicles and traffic to expand the existing residential parking zones without a town council hearing?
Second.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And that motion carries, and that concludes our agenda this evening.
Madam Mayor, seeing no other business, I'll move we adjourn.
Got to be faster, Mrs.
Second.
Mayor. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, and this may be almost a record. We are adjourned at 7:24 p.m. Thank you, everybody. You got it.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, hesitated.